Version 0.11 of the FFVII mod has seen some changes, so let's review the notable ones that I'm ready to review. I decided to change Sora's revenge value down on attacks with some egregious values, and make some attacks gradually build up their revenge value instead of applying it at the end. This is because moves can be cancelled early very often in this mod. You can pause to see the changes. Base Sora now has a way to reset his air combos. Normally you'd be locked into finishers unless you did some advanced tech, but now you have a more straightforward option. By holding R2 rather than just pressing it, Retaliating Slash will reset Sora to a fall animation, and thus reset his combo. As an added bonus, this also refreshes aerial dodge, so you can chase enemies upwards if you want to. Upper Slash can now combo with itself again, as it could in the base game. Normally I don't let macro attacks chain into themselves for this mod, but I'm making the exception here. The auto form abilities, like Auto Valor, have been completely changed. Equipping them now unlocks an L2 directional input you can use as a shortcut to the drive form at any time. For example, holding L2 and pushing the left analog stick up will set it to Valor form, but pushing the left analog stick back will reset it to Wisdom. Once the command menu has been changed, you can either use the attack button to use the drive explosion or use the triangle button for a drive traversal. This allows for near seamless transitions between drive forms once mastered. If you set up a shortcut and then decide you don't want to go into the drive form, you can press L1 to reset your command menu. Finally, the ability descriptions have been updated to reflect these changes, and enabling these will not make a reaction command pop up at critically low HP anymore. To accompany this change, drive traversals have been updated to fix some internal delay issues that were stopping the openers from being completely instantaneous upon the drive form loading in. Now the system is even more combo heavy rather than having a slight awkward delay for the drive traversal openers activated with R2. Masterform Sora has had its square and triangle inputs swapped for the sake of consistency for guard mechanics in this mod, which will require me to redo the guide video. This is so when you're doing awesome air combat sequences on challenge mode, you can press square to guard rather than it being overridden by reaction commands. This does mean downward aerial dodge is on triangle, but that's far less of a consequence if it's overridden than having air guard drop and getting you killed. Additionally, air guard now halts Master Sora's momentum entirely in the air, so you don't shoot past enemies and potentially miss the guard on them. The drive form icons have all been redone in this patch, courtesy of Revenir, and new ones have been added for final form and anti-form since you can view them in the stock. I'll leave those two as a surprise though, so don't forget. Speaking of icons, this mod now incorporates unique magic element icons made by Televo when you obtain them. Anti-Sora has had many changes in this update, which will require me to redo the guide video. I'll summarize rather than go over every change. Some hitboxes have been altered to allow for different combo routes, or allow for additional time to combo. It now also has two different hold combo systems. The R2 system is known as shadow boxing. By keeping R2 held long enough at attack startups, multiple attacks will endlessly loot their beginnings until you release the button. The second hold combo system is attached to the attack button and is known as shadow rush. By keeping attack held long enough when a move starts, multiple attacks jump to their endings, and will even refund their MP cost if it did have one. Finally, special macro attacks no longer cancel early from your movement if they start on the ground, so you can approach with them safely if you choose to. These changes were made because Anti-Form is meant to allow for an absurd amount of customizable combo routes, and I want to play into that further while also letting the player choose which ways they want to regain MP faster. Valor Form Sora now has the ability to reset its air combos, and no, I'm not redoing the guide video, read the abilities. By holding a square during the finisher dash or R2 during the finisher AoE, Valor Sora resets to his fall animation, allowing you to use basic attacks again. Multiple Keyblades have been changed in this patch. Circle of Life's ability is now Leaf Bracer. Sleeping Lion's ability is now MP Hastera. Winter's Proof's ability is now MP Hastega. Not even how you say whatever. Ultima Weapon's ability is now Dream Boost, an ability that changes depending on the route you chose at the beginning of the game. On the Warrior route, Sora's critical hit chance is increased by 5%. On the Mystic route, while Sora's MP is full, limits only cost 100 MP instead of a full bar. On the Guardian route, blocking or parrying attacks restores some of Sora's HP. Finally, on Challenge Mode specifically, Oathkeeper and Oblivion have their abilities changed, since Form Boost and Drive Boost do nothing on this mode. Oblivion's ability is Second Chance on Challenge Mode. Oathkeeper on Challenge Mode allows Anti-Form the capability to revert. To do this, hold L2 when idle or during a combo while on Anti-Form. Dark weapon variants have been added to Donald and Goofy while you are wearing an evil costume pack, so now the whole party can have more sinister weapons if you choose this aesthetic. Donald and Goofy have both received some intelligence and skill issue updates in this mod. The two of them can now laglessly land on the ground when continuing from their air combos. They each have new voice clips they can sometimes play, with the biggest relevance of this being that they can taunt their foe. Similar to the player, they drop money when successful, but it will always be a medium tier taunt reward if they do this. I'll get into specifics for the two's individual changes now. Donald can now use Donald Fire and Donald Thunder while airborne, so he can weave these into his air combos or start with them. In addition, Donald is now able to read the enemy's resistances and choose to not waste his MP on a spell that they're invincible to. This also makes his AI ignore the hidden limited ability spam system, so he can use the other spells more than 3 times in a row if something is resisted. Donald Fire now has him follow up with an attack instead of staying there awkwardly. Sometimes he'll wait for the enemy to be knocked down though. Donald Blizzard now blasts enemies away from him if they're in point blank range, and because of this, I gave his AI the capability to cast it close to an enemy if it wants to. Finally, Donald is smarter about his MP usage when it comes to Cure. If one more spell would make him consume all of his MP, he will first check Sora's HP and prioritize using Cure on him even at much higher values if his HP is not full. These changes were made because Donald is a moron in Kingdom Hearts 2, and he should be able to magic combo like Sora can. For Goofy, Bash, and Turbo have been changed. I'll start with Bash. This move will shove Goofy's target across the field, far away from the fight. If the enemy can't be moved, it'll still strike as it used to. Additionally, the power of the move has been increased, he has reduced wind-up time, the shield gets tossed faster, and the AI has a chance to use it at point-blank range to end the combo. If you want Goofy to be more of a zoner, now you can use Bash for that purpose. Goofy Turbo is fairly straightforward. The speed has been substantially increased, the wind-up time has been reduced, and it lasts for less time due to it being sped up. He can also choose to use this as a counterattack after he parries an enemy successfully. While these abilities aren't better than Tornado overall due to the impressive priority of that move, this does allow some extra customization to how you want Goofy to play, and make him waste far less time on these moves. Several party members now also play voice clips when using an ability instead of being silent, some being previously unused.
I'll take them. Feeling a little regret?
Challenge mode had a bug where it wasn't challenging enough. Because of this, Story Roxas has been updated to have the air battle logic from the Data Roxas version. It also has some of the pillar logic and combat techniques it can mix in when fighting you on the ground. The biggest AI update to an enemy though is Lingering Will, even more than before. For starters, I removed something left over from Project Aqua, which is not cancelled by the way, that had him land slower to account for the 60 FPS gravity in that mod. Additionally, he should now no longer teleport on the player with an active hitbox. Should being the key word, because sometimes he just does that even in vanilla. The second biggest update for him was for his revenge logic. He has a chance to use additional escape options after his initial counterattacks are done, allowing him to mix up the way he returns the fight to a neutral state for himself. However, the largest change of all, and I do mean large, was to his Phase 3 logic. Despite my initial changes, sometimes his AI had a strangely heavy reliance on the DM still, and Ultima canon. This isn't to say he won't still do these, but he has a much larger option table now. At this point, I'm completely happy with how he has turned out. This concludes the version 0.11 entry. Look out for more redone guide videos, then most likely a release video to follow if all goes well, since it's almost ready for PCSX2. And then after that, you know, we get to work on the PC port. Yay.